Welcome. Ladies and gentlemen, to The Apprentice, You're Fired, where tonight we celebrate one of the great inventions of our time. I'm not overstating this. It has literally got everything in here. Obviously, there's a cushion, which is one of the first thing we have. It comes with a fridge full of beer, which is great. All this smoke, by the way, is because there's a barbecue inside. It is truly, and this is not a word I feel we overuse here, multifunctional. Tonight on the show, the panel and I, with the help of unseen footage, will be taking apart the product design task and finding out how one team reinvented the box. Joining me are toy entrepreneur Richard North, Lord Sugar's aide Karren Brady and comedian Andy Parsons. Welcome to You're Fired, each one of you. Yes. Tonight's task of creating a new piece of flat-pack furniture left one candidate in pieces.
I've come to a conclusion that out of the three of you here today, and this may be unfair, that my gut feeling tells me that, Sophie, you're fired.
Thank you, Lord Sugar. Thank you.
Please welcome Sophie Lau. Sophie, it's comfortable, it's spacious, it is... How did you lose? How did you possibly lose such a fine invention? Are you disappointed?
I am disappointed, but it is a box on wheels.
It is a box on
It is
wheels.
a box on
Ultimately,
wheels,
yes.
yeah.
And it was going to be so much more than that, but we'll get to all
Okay.
that. The other thing, which is slightly awkward, because that is not necessarily why you lost per se. I think it was kind of more felt that you hadn't contributed enough. Do you feel, does that sting as a criticism?
I think it's an honest criticism. I don't think I could really do much in this task. You've got so many fiery girls with their strengths, and I didn't really feel I had the opportunity to play my forte this week.
As a matter of, but firstly, your forte was market research, though. It was the one thing that you did.
Oh, don't mention that one.
Really? Yeah, sorry, yeah. Well, you did bring it up yourself. I do
did,
market
yeah.
research.
Yeah.
Do a lot of research. I do market research.
I do market research. This
Yeah.
is my dissertation. I'm a student.
This is I can't wait to read this dissertation. It's all about market research. It's going to be fantastic. But the market research you did, I mean, were you asking the wrong questions, or were you not clear? Were you even clear when you went in to do the market research what it was that you were doing market research for, if you know what I mean?
No.
No. Okay. For a new product, market research, I mean, look, is it as much about the questions you ask as the answers you get?
Yeah, I mean, you've got to love the product that it is that you've got to go out and pitch. But in the sense of the market research, yeah, you've got a box. It's not the best product to try and get research on, is it? I mean, there was not even a USP with it. There was no special features that were set out to be there in the beginning. You know, so what do you say to somebody in market research? What do you think of my box?
Yeah, exactly.
I should rephrase that, shouldn't I? Sorry,
No. Let's let it hang in the air for a while. Reflect on it.
Multifunctional.
They are multifunctional. Let's see where it went wrong for you.
Are you Sophie? Stay safe.
I don't design and I don't pitch. What I have done is conduct market research.
I know how to conduct market research and get the most amount of information.
When you come out of market research, there needs to be very clear direction. So what was the clear recommendations?
They wanted space for legs. They wanted leg room.
Plus storage.
Leg space and storage.
Well,
How
you
can
can't
you do
have
that?
leg space and storage. Now, I'd like to know if the market research is a way of not being responsible for selling, not being responsible for the design of the product, not being responsible for manufacturing. In the past 3 weeks, I haven't seen anything from you. I haven't heard much from you. I think you're hiding a little bit.
No, I don't think
Well,
so.
no, I think you are. OK, I don't want to hear any more.
Were you hiding?
I don't think I was hiding. I think my problem is with the girls that, you know, you get to know them by now. They're all very strong characters, and I am a team player, and I like to think that I can work well in a team. And when someone's saying, I'm an award-winning saleswoman, I've got a makeup brand, a global makeup brand, I'm the best designer in the world. I'd be a moron to put myself up for the designing aspect or the sales aspect. So you sort of have to know your strengths and weaknesses in the team.
So, do you think Sophie's problem is she can't spot bull when it's being spoken by other people who are in the process?
I think it's important that you listen to other people and you play to your strengths, but part of the process is to test what you do know and how you react when you don't know what to do. So what you're prepared to try, what things you'll take on. And I think sometimes you can be so in awe of people or so not want to be pushy that you become so far the other way that you sort of disappear out of the process. And I felt for you a little bit, because obviously you're very young as well, and there are some very big characters in the girls' candidates this year.
Yeah.
I mean, you're the youngest, I think, that we had on this year. You're 22, isn't it?
22.
So you just graduated. You're just starting to work. Yeah, not everyone speaks the truth in these situations with their global brand and all that. So it's grand. So that may have been one of the things that caught you.
You weren't exactly helping yourself, though, were you? Because you said you don't design, and you don't manufacture, you don't sell, you don't pitch. You weren't exactly selling your positives there, were you?
I'm modest.
When Lord Sugar said, why do you think you shouldn't be fired, I thought you were almost going to go, well, I could tell you why you could fire me. I can't do this, I can't do that.
It's a bad speech.
And it is a bit of a fight out there, isn't it, amongst your competitors? And you never came across with that fight. You never, as Andy said there, you never stood up and said, this is what I do. This is what I'm better at than the next person, than you guys. We never heard that.
I mean, I can fight, but I don't think it's in my nature to be really bitchy and be really loud. And to win that fight, you've got to shout and you've got to, be the dominating one.
You've got to be heard.
And I just felt...
Yeah, when we watched you were talking and you were quite eloquent, I thought, the way you spoke. But people just didn't listen.
No.
I think
you weren't being
that
heard.
came through, actually, in previous tasks where you had good points to make and you wanted to make them, but every time you went to make them, people just switched off.
They were just like, no, and I was like, oh, OK.
Yeah.
You are shown the door tonight, but another candidate was on the threshold.
I'm very good at designing.
I definitely have creative vision.
I can make it look good. I'm in the look good industry.
That don't look good. Tidy-sidey, wishy-washy, poxy-boxy.
I'm good at designing.
It has to be like, wow. I quickly sketched this.
Could you just agree that the design makes it?
Yeah, it does. It looks lovely.
The designs on the side make it look a bit like a garden planter. It's not largely a box on wheels.
It's got to look nice in a room.
Part of the house you couldn't see, maybe.
Uzma, in your application, keeping up to date with current trends for design.
That's exactly what I do, Lord Sugar, and this is it.
You're in a time warp, if that's what you call keeping up to date.
I did not design that.
What you did say was the product had to be glueless.
Glueless? More like bloody clueless.
OK, we've seen the ridiculous version of it. That may detract from the majesty of the actual one. Literally, you cannot look at this enough. Feel your eyes disappear into it, mainly because of these hatched lines, which are quite beautiful.
Horrendous. And feel it feels horrible.
It's not a good wood, is it?
It's horrible.
No.
It's grey, it's small, it's on wheels. You think you put a little kid inside there, give him a plunger, it's a little Dalek. It's multifunctional, that's what it is.
It is multifunctional.
Which one of you actually did finally say that it's going to be a box on wheels? Who's the one in your...
I don't even know. I don't even know who... No one was responsible for designing it. No one said, oh, I designed it. I just don't know how it came to this.
Wasn't the problem that you didn't have anything better? So this box that you were then going to use words to describe it that magically would make it multifunctional, but actually it was just a box on wheels.
Because it was just that it was a problem they went for everything.
Everything.
In the initial meeting,
Seat,
all
tray,
the different sides would have different functions, rather than having no functions at all.
And the thing is, though, isn't it? When you've got, it's supposed to be a lap tray, wasn't it? But without a cushion, it's not a lap tray. It's just a plank of wood, isn't it?
No, we did have grooves.
In the Argus pitch, actually, in the Argus pitch, they said, look, and you can lift this off, and you put it back on. And if someone else is in the room and you're looking at your laptop, you can wheel this around and you can show them, you know, what's around. The guys, or you could pick up your laptop and go like
I've never felt the need to put a good bit of wood between me and the laptop, just to, you know, for what. And also the notion that was quite, you know, you put your pen there so it wouldn't roll away. It's amazing. And what I love is as well, if you put a marble in, it's not a bad little.
It's a game.
It's
a toy. Well done.
Hey! 2 punches already. Last week, Uzma was at odds with Rebecca. Tonight, it was Natalie who got the evils.
Uzma,
you said this is what you came up with.
That's really unfair.
I don't care if it's unfair, it's the truth.
It isn't the truth.
Yes, it is.
Really?
Look me in the eyes. This is the truth.
I am looking you in the eyes.
We're only into week 3 and already there's an enormous amount of fighting on the women's team.
Well, they haven't won.
Yeah.
And the problem is, as I've said on the show, there's a lot of talkers and not very many listeners. And I think it's going to get better when the teams, you know, get mixed up, because then you're going to bring a balance. And then one of the girls will be on a winning team, which will be good. You know, there's a lot of tension in there. There's a lot at stake. They all want to win. And you'll find, actually, in this process that for the first sort of 3 tasks, everyone's fighting for their corner. They want to make their voice heard. They want to come across to Lord Sugar as in charge, confident, know what they're doing. And then by task 4, they realise that actually working together as a team and getting the best out of each other means no one gets fired. And they start to learn that as the process goes on. But they haven't learnt it by this stage.
This isn't series 1, though, you know. This has been running for 9 series. Surely people arrive in.
You say that, but you're talking about entrepreneurs, people that work on their own, that run their own business, that listen only to themselves, that make all their decisions themselves. And suddenly they're in this process with 15 other people. There's 16 of them, each of them thinking they're top dog, and it creates fireworks. And it takes a while to settle down and for the voice of reason to emerge, but it does emerge eventually.
The 3 we want to see in the boardroom is Uzma, isn't it? Louisa and Neil Clough. You're going to need earplugs for that one, Karen. Earplugs and a shotgun.
Karen, I wish to take a moment, if I can, to applaud you for the panache with which you first raised, then dashed the hopes of one team tonight.
Karren, the catalogue chain for Evolve.
They really loved your pitch. And they really liked you guys. They hated the product. And they didn't place any orders.
Their little faces.
Well, it was true. They did like the girls and they did like the pitch, but the product was rubbish. I mean, we could all see the product was rubbish. I mean, I remember Alan calling me when we were out on tour. I said, oh, you know, what is the product like? I said, you wait till you see it. And he said, oh, what is it? Is it great? Is it great? I said, you wait till you see it. And, yeah.
Andy, have you been impressed with the girls' team at all?
Well, you know, I noticed there's been a few issues, as you were saying, and then Lord Sugar then goes, didn't he? Well, we know what women are like, didn't he? And you had to go, excuse me, didn't you? I thought at that point you should have just had an argument with him for a laugh. You know. Yeah. Look into my eyes, Lord Sugar, look into my eyes. Look.
Sophie, let's hear what Lord Sugar and your fellow candidates had to say about you.
Sophie, in the first 3 weeks, made no impression upon me at all. She's well qualified on paper, but that didn't translate into the real world.
I think Sophie's quite a weak character. I don't know if she adds much value or whether she's rolling with everything.
I'm not sure what Sophie's role was.
I do think she tends to just stay safe and that we carry her a little bit.
I understand that Sophie runs her own restaurant, so clearly she has some abilities, but she never demonstrated those abilities to me, and that's why she had to go.
I don't think that should be taken in any way as kind of a character attack. And what have you learned from the few weeks you've had in dealing with these feisty characters, other than not to work with any of them again? What have you learned?
I think that these people, you know, the girls especially, they are very successful and all credit to them. But I think some of them, there's a reason why they work by themselves, because they just can't work with other people. And I think it's just, you know, a really good thing, especially because I'm so young, to go out there and be able to do that, because I don't want to get to their age and then become a character like that.
Go, Sophie!
Wow.
I think you can be nice.
Baby-faced assassin.
No, I think you can be nice and do business. And
Yes,
I don't
you can,
think
of course.
the majority of the candidates show that. And I think people go into the show and think, I've got to be a bitch, I've got to be the loud one, I've got to be the dominating one to be successful. But that's not life. That isn't life.
No, it's not. You're absolutely right, and that doesn't reflect in generally in business. Also, none of the winners of this show have been the ones you would remember as being bitchy or domineering or...
Well, that's right. And there's two scales. You get the very, very loud ones that go very, very quickly, because Alan really is not looking for someone who's constantly, you know, shouting with no purpose. And also the very, very quiet ones that can't have and be heard because they don't have any presence in the meetings, they don't have any presence in the rooms and no presence in the pitches. They go as well. And eventually the process eliminates the extremes and we see some really credible and quality people come through.
Richard, you've made millions, let's say, not prying into your finances, but you've done well, Richard, with wow stuff. On innovation, on product, on bringing very distinct product. What is the rule for like devising a new product? I mean, we saw this the opposite of it here.
Yeah, I mean, just what we saw was the exact opposite. The design by committee thing, you know, that can't work. You know, somebody's got to be in charge. I thought Natalie, as a project manager, was a complete shambles on this project because she wasn't decisive and she let everybody's opinion count.
Yeah.
And there's a point where she's got to say, well, you know, you've done design, so let's hear from you. You know, you're in that space, you're good at that, so you come to the fore. Not just cast it out so everybody's idea is heard and everything then gets thrown into the box as it did.
If they'd stopped when they had two suggestions for sides on the cube, if they'd stopped at the wine and the cushion, let's say, if stopped with anything and just go, right, we're just going to go with this, we're just going to push this, make that as positive as possible, rather than just drowning under semi-suggestions and... Yeah,
and then there's a possibility you can go the over-engineer route. You know, we've been there ourselves where, you know, somebody comes up with an idea and the actual basic initial idea can sometimes be the winner. And then somebody throws in an extra bit here and an extra bit there. It all adds on to the cost, adds to the complexity. The USP that was originally thought of gets forgotten. And so when you come to the pitching process, in front of Argos, these really experienced buyers, they're struggling to understand actually what is it? What's that big thing that we can put on the page, put online and say, we're selling this because it does this one thing better than anything else and is different.
Presumably happens all the time. For a company like yourselves that brings out ranges of different toys, there must be a percentage, 10% of the time, it might not work. I mean,
I'd say 90% of the time.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, the chances of hitting on one thing great from the beginning is fairly limited. And the more ideas you have, the more ideas that go into the pot to start with is great, but then the project manager has to decide we're taking these ones forward with these benefits, and that is it.
Yeah.
And
its benefit was it was multifunctional.
OK, now we haven't focused on Jordan so far, but tonight he was the winning PM.
If people want to take just 30 seconds each to kind of explain an idea that they've had.
The idea is literally pin out, fold it down. It's a table with storage facilities at the bottom.
I actually really like that. It can be a bedside table, it can be a chair for outside. It's so multifunctional. This is a multifunctional chair. In a matter of seconds, this chair stows away as a table.
Yeah, I like the idea of it. So we'd start off with an order for 200.
We'd love to do that with you.
Endeavour has sold 3,216 and the ladies 174.
Do you think they're sat there thinking, I can't believe we didn't sell any boxes?
Yeah, exactly.
No, it was a box with wheels.
And also, can eat your dinner off the top, so it's a table.
Oh, that
as
was
well.
handy, wasn't it?
It's like the Rocky video.
So Jordan, he was a good project manager. He seemed to be, anyway.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, they had a good idea, they worked on it together, they developed something that people could see had been thought of intelligently, and he was happy to let the people that could pitch. He made a decision not to let Z pitch because he'd been unsuccessful twice, and that's about organising and managing people properly, and I think he did a good job this week.
Is it important sometimes to go with the vision? If somebody has a good idea, go with it?
I think absolutely Alex showed that, didn't he? You know, they backed it. They backed a winner. Jordan again showed his decisiveness and his management skills. When they all started to agree, that was it. Bang.
Yeah.
Let's go with this.
I thought it was a great product.
Yeah. It was a good idea. And actually, do you know what else they did? They completely ignored their market research. I know that must cut you to the quick.
Yeah.
But their market research mainly involved going to men in bus stops.
Where did they go?
Yeah, just these guys going, oh, I don't know. Yeah, you're absolutely right. The one who really measured up in this particular task was, of course, Alex.
Try and sit down.
This is a normal seating position.
If I just sit down like that... Oh, God, bloody hell.
Take that height. Can we just... Not you, Jordan. Somebody average size. What's that?
Here it is. Here is Alex's vision made flesh. Just do that and that. That's how ridiculously straightforward that is.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's a really, really nice... And it's got Foldo written, actually carved into the wood as well, you know. So is there a market for a grown-up high chair? Which is essentially what this is, you know.
He got everything so right, didn't he? He got that USP right. So how could he get the legs so wrong?
Well, the thing with this is it's a prototype, and people could see the simplicity of the idea and the genuine multifunction of it could be something. And I think what people are doing when they're buying this product is they're saying, we're not buying that as the finished product. We're buying into the idea, and actually with some few tweaks and adjusting the height and finishing it off a little bit better, they would buy it.
I think I agree with that. We find that when we present prototypes, there's a 70% finished product always that you're putting forward, and it's the 30% then that comes in time.
Do you think it's a good product?
I think it's a great product.
Do you think it's a good product?
I think the way Alex's brain showed that it worked was fantastic. You know, he got the vision straight away.
Do you think it's a good product?
I wasn't convinced by the name Foldo. That sounded more like a character from Lord in the Rings to me.
OK, all the boys came up with a praiseworthy product. It wasn't all plain sailing for Z.
I've got a bloke over there thinks he's Napoleon.
Napoleon, at the age of 32, he conquered the world. That is where I am headed. And my legs are very comfortably fitting under your table.
OK.
So I'm nicely sat there, I can eat my food. I just think unlucky with the first one. I'm here to conquer. I'm here to take over. I will go down in history. Simplicity is the ultimate sophistication.
I don't think it's for our target market.
I will be one of the greats of this generation in business, period. That is a fact. Let's shake hands, let's do some business here, let's start a relationship.
I'm really not convinced.
People who have met me, well, they should cherish it because they will know that we knew someone who did something great.
I want you to do this one, Kurt.
200 years after I lived, people read about me in books.
Setting rather a high standard for himself there, isn't he?
I think he actually believes that as well.
Just talks nonsense management speak, doesn't he? He's always saying things like going forward and simplicity is the ultimate sophistication. I mean, going forward is a horrible phrase, isn't it? I even heard Steven Gerrard say going forward, and you're thinking, for a footballer, fair enough, but the way he said it was, he didn't use it in that sense. He said, we didn't spend enough of the game attacking, that's something we need to look at going forward.
In the pitch, I'd worry about putting him forward. Jordan did the right thing in not putting him forward for the third time. I think, you know, a lot of people will turn off from his kind of style in selling.
With aggressive selling.
He's still not as bad as Neil Clough, though. The sales orgasm. What the hell was that about? Get someone to say yes 3 times. You can imagine him just desperately trying to get someone to say yes, couldn't you? You know, he's got 2 yeses and he's going, what's the opposite of no? Are you a human being?
Jason, by contrast, is a man of learning, and it's nice to see that the other candidates are hoping to soak some of that up.
I'm learning to make my language more flowery due to Jason.
Recapitulate.
He teaches me my words of the day.
A word with more than 2 syllables.
Jason, what's the word of the day today?
The word of the day is recalcitrant. Penitence, penitence.
Jason's word of the day is spiffing.
Spiffing? No, that's very boring.
I am polymophous.
Puerile. Auxiliary, A-U-X-I-L-L-I-A-R-Y. Is it double L? Of course it is.
Clickety-boo. That goes like that. Clickety-boo.
Tickety-boo.
Is he a bit of a dote? Is he sweet?
I love Jason. I'm Jason's #1 fan. He's a great guy. I want him to win.
Actually, I think people genuinely warmed to him. They liked his eccentric ways of his talking, and he's very well read, and he's, you know, Nick and I called him a young fogey because he sort of was older for his years, but a very young man, and I don't think you've definitely not seen the best of Jason.
It's this nightmare image of him, like, shoving a load of tat in the back of a truck, going banging in there, banging out. Don't be recalcitrant with me. Get it into the truck. Buy him cheap, sell him high. Now to the vote. Richard, do you think Lord Sugar was right to fire Sophie?
I think it was very close, and I think you're lovely, very nice, but you need a few more years of experience, and I think, yes, he was right.
Okay.
Karen?
Absolutely, Sophie, endorse that, and obviously what Alan said to you, and hopefully you'll get your confidence back and you'll learn from the process.
Andy?
I felt very sorry for you. I thought it was a design fault. I thought Natalie should have gone. Natalie's big thing that she was good at delegating, wasn't she? So, you know, she said she was creative but then didn't create, said she could sell but then didn't sell, and I think she should have been fired, but sadly, in the end, she delegated that as well. So, I felt you were very unlucky.
I'm going to throw it over to yourselves. If you agree with Lord Sugar, hold up fired. If you disagree, hold up hired. Oh, it's very, very close. It's very, very close. I'm going to go 50-50, and this may be edging towards fired, unfortunately, yeah.
I think you're colourblind.
It has been an absolute pleasure to have you here, but there are things we don't want to hear you say, right? Okay. We don't want to ever to hear you say, so we're going to save you the effort. We got them printed on a T-shirt instead. No. So anytime somebody comes, this is our gift from you, it just says, I can design, pitch, sell, none of the above. So that's for you. You made it to week 3, Sophie. Here are your highlights.
I see myself as a female Justin Bieber. I'm young, I'm fresh, I've got loads of energy, loads of passion.
She just bounces around the house and bounces off different walls.
I'm pumped for this.
I know what people want. Union Jack Bug. And I can run in heels. I can do business very well. The limited edition. It's a new red ale, rhubarb and caramel flavour. Thank you very much. Thank you. How good is that?
Sophie is like a little firecracker.
Fun, young,
really bubbly.
One of the most sweetest people, I think, in the house.
Ladies and gentlemen, Sophie Loud. That's it for tonight. Thanks to all my guests. If you want more, go to our website at bbc.co.uk/apprentice, where you'll find audition clips and Matt Edmondson's awkward conversations with the 3 fired candidates. You'll also find us on Twitter and Facebook. Next week, a task to set up a farm shop leaves one candidate reaping a poor harvest.
Oh, my Lord.
Hello.
Make the cabbage happy.
Moo! Sleep for the farm!
If I run, will they charge?
The birds only laid them 2 days ago.
Chop, chop.
I don't mind dressing up as a scarecrow. Come here, you.
Hold me tight. We're going to be gone. I can't sell that.
You found.
Come on up to Fruity Cow!
See you at the same time next Wednesday. Good night.
And as well as appearing on Breakfast tomorrow morning, Sophie will be chatting about her Apprentice experience with Greg James tomorrow afternoon from 4 o'clock over on BBC Radio 1. It's Newsnight for us next tonight.